Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining today's eClaims webinar. My name is Tony Contento. I'm a program manager within the eClaims unit, and joining me today is Mike Hunter, who's also a program manager with the eClaims unit. We do ask that you please keep your phone lines muted, and any questions that you have, please use the Q&A feature to receive your questions today. Please send them via that option in the webinar. You can access that by going to the Q&A located in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. And when sending us your questions, please select the All Panelists option. And you can also get to the QA portion by hovering over the WebEx tab that should be at the top of your screen. And just click on Q&A to submit your questions. Now, unfortunately, we probably won't be able to get to all your questions today, but if you happen to come up with something after the fact, please send it to our email web box at eclaims@wcb.ny.gov. So for today's agenda, we're going to go over the case indexing changes that recently became effective. We're also going to be going over table changes that were published on July 23rd and also on September 16th. And we're going to be going over the most frequent errors that were returned over the past 90 days. We're going to give you a quick update onboard Claim Center for PARS. And finally, any questions remaining that we weren't able to answer, we'll try to get them answered for you. First up is the case indexing changes. Now, before I go into this slide, I just want to let you know that the past mass email that we had sent out, the eClaims unit, we received 39 email addresses which were returned to us as bad. So eClaims administrator, please remove any people who no longer are within your organization or who shouldn't have access to the board's applications, as that is also a security issue. And now in terms of the case indexing changes that recently became effective, now, to provide clarity and promote the efficient resolution of workers' compensation claims, the board began indexing every complete case effective September 26th of 2024. Now, this means that every case that has an employee claim and the board's form number is Form C3, or the first report of injury, of FROI, and a medical report of treatment will be indexed by the board. Now, following that indexing, any denial of the claim must be filed with the board within 25 days of the date of indexing, or defenses listed in workers' compensation law, section 25(2)(b, will be barred. Now, in support of this change, we did relax some EDI edits, and those were published on the eClaims change log on July 23rd of 2024. Again, those are the ones announcing the implementation of September 26th. And if you would like to read more about that, please visit the board's website, or you can utilize these links once you receive the physical portion of this presentation. Next up will be Mike. He's going to go over the table changes.
Thank you, Tony. I'll go over the table changes here. As you can see, they were published in July, effective on September 26th of last month. The first one, as many of you know, and Tony just spoke about, agreement to compensate code edit was slightly relaxed moving forward so that any claims assembled on or after September 26th of 2024, you can now leave agreement to compensate code null if it's a medical-only claim. And as Tony mentioned also in those bulletins, you'll see that in that case there, the case is not indexed. A few other edits that we made as well, date of injury, claim type code, and the agreement to compensate code population restrictions, all again modified to support the indexing changes that went into effect on September 26th. Another edit here, a population restriction that again we have changed to allow a little bit more relaxed stuff. In this case here, must be L if claim type code is M or W. Now it cannot be without liability. That's noted in changelog 387, and this is to support that changelog item. While I'm on those slides, I'll just, there was a question if you can continue to send agreement to compensate code with the medical only cases. Yes, the edits still allow it, and you are welcome to continue submitting exactly as you do today. Another edit that changed, this one here was published on September 16th. We actually implemented on August 28th. We removed the population restriction for DN 0086064, benefit type, amount paid. This was determined to be not necessary. It was causing an unnecessary rejection for a couple trading partners. So due to that, we had it removed from our tables. The next slide here, IAIBC added the new data element, date claim administrator, had a decision to fully deny, DN 0444. We currently have it marked as NA here in New York. We are not taking that DN, but we wanted to update our tables just to reflect that. So that is changelog items 389 through 391. Another change we made, we had a couple senders bring to our attention. The changes may be needed for reporting both number of days worked per week, DN64, work week type code, DN204, and work days schedule code, DN205. So to resolve the issues they brought forth, we're going to modify some of those population restrictions effective on March 20th of next year. We posted those on September 16th, and we wanted to give at least 6 months notice so that folks could code their systems appropriately. This slide here, changelog items 392 through 397, summarizes the changes that we made to support that, and again, to reduce a few rejections that were brought forth. I'm going to turn it over to Tony, who will go over the most frequent errors for the last 90 days.
Thanks, Mike. So the first one that we came across was in regard to population restriction 0085064A, which is the benefit type code field. And the most common error over these past 90 days, as well as for 2022 and 2023, is this one, where the population restriction is intended to prevent a new benefit type code, DN0085, from being introduced as a sweep benefit if not previously submitted as an event benefit or a SUR/SA including the benefit type code. Now, this is based on the IAIBC Claims EDI Section 4 rules. And again, as we stated in previous ones, FTP filers, please ensure your systems are programmed accordingly so you can avoid further rejections from occurring. The second most common error was population restriction 0075-064C, the agreement to compensate code field. And this was returned in the past 90 days. It's also an eClaims 3.0 carryover. And this was to ensure that the agreement to compensate code is sent as with liability after the board has issued a notice that the case has been established with an ANCR or an ODNCR, finding in accordance with Section 21A. And the third most common error, returned in the past 90 days, again, is another carryover edit from eClaims version 3.0. And this was intended to force vendors to only change the net weekly amount, DN0087, on the appropriate maintenance type code in accordance with the IAIBC Claims EDI 3.1 standard. And again, FTP filers, this one and the previous one, please ensure that you update your systems accordingly to avoid further rejections from occurring. Now, Mike is going to be going over the onboard, the Claims Center updates for PARS. Mike?
Thank you, Tony. As many of you are probably aware, if you've received an email from eClaims Workgroup, eClaims Workgroup receives certain PARs in the system when a sender can't be identified or it possibly needs to be routed to a new sender. So we just wanted to give a few reminders for those who may be a workload administrator for a payer. So payer workload administrators since August now have the ability to have a prior authorization request moved to the correct claim administrator. This is very important for the same WCB case number, and this eliminates the need to administratively deny the PAR. The new option allows payers to request insurer review or update the claim center of a PAR if there was a recent change in the third-party administrator. The two new actions shown on the screen here are request insurer review and update claim sender. A couple reminders for the update claim sender option. This option should always be the first choice for the workload administrator. If the claim administrator is available to choose from the dropdown, the workload administrator should be reassigning the PAR. Keep in mind, some TPAs may be owned by an insurance carrier or carrier group, so you may need to select that carrier group from the dropdown to reassign the PAR to that specific TPA that you are looking for. The board has seen the insurer review option used several times when the update claim sender option would have been appropriate. For now, we are still reassigning those PARs to not delay or create another burden on you or the provider or claimant. We are, however, sending emails to educate the workload administrator regarding the proper use of that update claim sender option versus the insurer review option. A couple reminders for the insurer review option. Insurer review option should not be used if you are going through the controverted claims process. We've received a few insurer review requests when 404s have been filed and it's going through the controverted process. You should continue to use that administrative denial available to you for the 404 controverted option. Insurer review option should be used if you are not the insurer on the case and has not gone through the controverted claims process yet or been established by the board. Additionally, you may use insurer review option when the claim administrator you wish to assign to is not an option using the update claim sender option. For example, if you're trying to reassign it to ABC TPA and they're not part of a carrier group or not an option, that would be appropriate then to request insurer review. It's possible ABC TPA for some reason hasn't registered that W number for eClaims like they should have. The board has received insurer review submissions asking a PAR be moved to a different case. We do not have the ability to move it to a different case. Those should not be submitted for insurer review as we are unable to move PARs from one case to another. We only have the ability to move that PAR to another insurer for that specific case. So just keep that in mind when you are using that insurer review option. And with that, I will turn it over to Tony to wrap things up.
All right, thank you, Mike. If you please have any questions, submit them through the Q&A option through today's WebEx. We did receive a couple of ones, so Mike was able to answer one of them previously. But at this time, we're going to go ahead and go on mute for a few minutes while we go over those questions that you've submitted. Thank you.
We had one question actually, not eClaims related, but PAR related, just asking if our viewers have the ability to reassign a PAR, and they do not. Only the workload administrators have the ability. So it is important that you let all of your reviewers know that if a PAR needs to get moved, let's say it changed to ABC TPA and it needs to be reassigned, in that case there, they should be letting the workload administrator know so they can either update the claim sender or request insurer review versus currently administratively denying it.
Okay, so that's the only questions that we received today. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up today's webinar. However, again, if you happen to come across a question or you get a copy of today's presentation later on and you re-review it and something comes across that you'd like an answer to, please submit those questions to eClaims at wcb.ny.gov. That is eClaims at wcb.ny.gov. And I want to make sure that you're aware of the various ways to stay informed on eClaims news and upcoming engagement opportunities. So please visit the board's website at wcb.ny.gov to stay up to date and get the latest news. And you can also sign up to receive news notifications straight to your inbox. You can visit the eClaims page on the board's website, and then towards the bottom you'll see where it says WCB notifications within the eClaims overview section. So if you click on that, it'll guide you through a process of selecting the topics or subjects that you're interested in getting that information sent directly to your email inbox. And again, as I stated before, we always welcome and value your questions, your feedback, suggestions. So again, please continue to send that to us at eClaims@wcb.ny.gov. And as you've noticed, into even not just today's presentation, but previous ones, where we do work with the trading partners, we really do think of this as a relationship with each other, where if you see something that you feel might be modified, a population restriction, or something might need to be tweaked, please reach out to us, and we're more than willing to work with you because, again, we're all in this together. We want to make sure that the claims get adjudicated on time, that they're getting paid on time, and the claimant get the needed medical procedures that would be helpful for them to get back to work sooner rather than later. So we really do value your feedback and input. And you can also follow the board. I know that I stated previously that you could get those WCB notifications, but you can also follow us on Facebook, on X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, and also YouTube. And I want to let you know that a recording of today's webinar will be placed eventually on the board's YouTube page, and also a link to the board's eClaims webpage as well. So again, I want to thank you for joining us, and we really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to attend today's webinar. So I hope you have a pleasant afternoon. Thank you.